Right, let's talk Liverpool because, at the moment they are looking like the champions elect. And I've said it in my last review in the Premier League match day 13, I think it was, the ones from the weekend, basically, after they beat Manchester City and opened up a 9-point gap at the top, opened up a gap of, 11 points ahead of Manchester City, who are now down to 5th place. And not only the result, but the way they played really does show me that these guys are champions elect. They'll be a threat in the Champions League. I've heard some people say that Liverpool aren't good enough to win the Champions League. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. They can beat anybody on their day. They are a threat in every game that they play. Teams will now fear Liverpool, really fear them, because the way they've played is unbelievable, and I've said this, the style of football they play is so easy on the eye. I love watching Liverpool. I really do. The speed, the power, the passing accuracy, the shot accuracy. I mean, you've got Salah, who's in the form of his life. You've got Virgil van Dijk, who is a rock at the back. You've got the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alexis McAllister, firing in balls from all angles, and of course the likes of Diaz and Nunez all chipping in with the goals as well. They're absolutely on fire now. Even the likes of Gakpo, that doesn't really play at quite as much, they'll come in and they'll make an impact. Connor Bradley, there's loads of everybody in that team. Curtis Jones as well, he's on fire too. The whole team is just playing magnificently. They're absolutely serene. And before anybody says it, I'm not a Liverpool fan. Before anybody says that, if you're new to this channel, you know which team I support, and they're not even in the Premier League this season. So, I really do think they are the champions elect earlier already. They've got a 9-point lead at the top. I'm not saying it's done and dusted. There's so much more work to do. And there is actually a stat, which I was shocked at here, that really, really showed me this, right? That there is still a lot of work for Liverpool to do in the Premier League, because their record start, where they've won 11 out of 13 matches, is not actually a record. It's a tie for this point in the season, believe it or not. Tied with a certain Chelsea from 2008-09. Now, Gus Hiddink was the manager back then, and they didn't win the Premier League. Interesting. They finished 3rd, actually. 7 points off champions Manchester United and 3 points behind Liverpool. Were they managed by Rafa Benitez then? Was he still at the club at that point? I'm trying to remember now. It was a long time ago. 15 years ago, in fact. So, God, 2009 was 15 years ago. It's going to be 16 years ago soon. But yeah, I mean, so there's still a lot of work to be done, for sure. But, they've won every game in the EFL Cup. They're through to the quarterfinals of that. They've won every game in the Champions League as well. Only team to won all their games in the Champions League on 15 points out of 15. They're perfect. The only drop points they've had this season in the Premier League, of course, the away draw to Arsenal, which is a great result, to be honest. And they could have easily won that game too. I think they did probably edge it just about. And obviously the freak of a loss against Nottingham Forest. That's still yet to be replicated. Nobody's beaten Liverpool other than Forest in any competition this season. Unbelievable stuff. So they're completely unbeaten away from home. I mean, they've played some tough away games as well in that too. So, and of course they did, completely destroy Manchester City at the weekend. Let's be honest, it could have easily been more than 2. And I've done a video on Manchester City. It'll either be out at the same time as this one or before, depending on the platform you're watching it on. Just asking whether they're in crisis right now, and they kind of are. But on the other side of things, on the flip side of the coin, you got Liverpool, who are just incredible right now. So, I mean, you look at the stats, right? You look at the stats here. It's very unlikely that this level of lead has ever been beaten at any point in the season. It's only twice that it's happened before where a side has been 9 points or more clear at the top of the Premier League, though I know that the Chelsea record there with how many points they had and how many wins they had from 13 games, they did give up that lead. But when there's been this big of a lead, a 9-point lead or larger, Man United back in 1993-94 and also Chelsea back in 05-06, both of those teams won the title in that season. And so it is not, historically it is an insurmountable lead. No one's managed to do it. There's so much more of the season to go. We're only about a third or so through it. But at the same time, who is going to challenge them? Arsenal? I mean, they've got them form back a little bit, but they're not looking quite on the same level as Liverpool right now. Nobody is. Liverpool's biggest problem, though, is, of course, the contract situation. Salah, Van Dijk, Arnold, all not signed up for next season. That's their biggest worry. That's their biggest battle right now off the pitch. And I'll be shocked if one of them don't leave, if not more. I think Trent is probably going to leave to go to Real Madrid. That almost feels like a done deal nearly at this point. It makes perfect sense for Madrid. It's the exact kind of player they want. Makes sense for Trent as well. Goes to play for another one of the biggest world clubs in the world, but he is a local lad, so maybe he'll stick with Liverpool for a little longer, because with how they're playing right now, they could win it all. They probably won't. No team really has ever done that. Has any team ever won the FA Cup, League Cup, Premier League and the Champions League? I don't think that's ever happened before. Man City, of course, did the treble the other season. Man United did it back in the day as well, but no one's done a quadruple like that. It's been talked about before, you know, Man City's dominant teams in the past, and even Man United as well back in the day, but Liverpool, rather doing it at the moment, if they keep playing like they're playing, they avoid injuries, I can't see anybody beating them again. It looks like a freak result like what happened with Forest to even contemplate that. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Is this Liverpool's title to lose? I certainly think it is. Because if you get to the end of the season and they've given up a 9-point lead to Chelsea or Arsenal or whoever, you've got to mark that down as a massive opportunity missed. You have to. You have to. Simple as that. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to thefootballchronicle.com to see much more news and opinion pieces on the world of football just like this.